Hi, it's Gab and Dad.
Are we on the air?
We're on now.
Okay.
Yes, the session has begun. We're reviewing the much-anticipated new Paul Thomas Anderson film, The Master, starring Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix. Dad, The Master, tell us what it's about.
Well, it's about really the relation. Well, it's about two things, I think. About, first of all, at least a very kind of damaged individual played by Joaquin Phoenix. A sort of a bit of a drifter.
Post-war.
Post-World War II. It's about him. I think it's principally about him and his life and the way in which he's a damaged soul. But secondly, it's about his relationship with the Master, who leads a kind of a Scientologist-type cult and is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. I'd say it's about those two things principally.
Yes, I'd say Joaquin Phoenix's character is the central character,
Definitely.
and then their relationship is the central story, as much as there is a story.
Yes, but I would say this film, more than anything else, is really a psychological portrait, principally of the Joaquin Phoenix character, but also to some extent of the Philip Seymour Hoffman character of the Master.
Definitely character portraits, and by the nature of what the film is about, psychological portraits,
yes.
And not so much really a traditional narrative story.
No, there's not a whole lot of story in this, really, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it has what so many films these days don't have, which is a complex and sophisticated portrayal of character, personality, individuals, and the relationship between, in this case, two men.
Very, very complicated, and no neat, pat answers or resolutions. And I think that's something that a lot of people might have a problem with. And I'm torn because that, to me, is definitely its greatest strength. But I also, for me, it was a bit of a weakness because I felt a bit detached because I wasn't quite drawn in emotionally and understanding of everything that was going on. And so I didn't feel a personal stake as much as I sort of wanted to.
Well, I understand that. I mean, it didn't emotionally grab you particularly.
Right.
You weren't cheering for one character or another. But I myself was fascinated by the really intricate portrayal of character of these two individuals, and I thought the acting, particularly Joaquin Phoenix, was superb.
Superb.
As good as anything I've seen ever in the movies.
Yeah, very complicated, no pigeonholed role
and totally convincing.
On both ends.
Totally convincing.
Yes, very. I mean, he really keeps you on the edge in terms of his psychology and what was going to become of him. But again, no easy answers. What did become of him? Not to spoil anything. What did or didn't, and of the Master. People may leave feeling unsatisfied. I'm just warning.
There's ambiguity.
It's very ambiguous, but that's what I enjoy.
That's okay. I mean, after all, dare I say it, life
and
often is ambiguous.
psychology. I mean, psychoanalysis is not exactly the easy answer route to go, and so it served that subject matter well. What about artistically?
Wonderful. The cinematography is wonderful. The direction is a little quirky, but I found it extremely interesting. Very well done.
Well, as Paul Thomas Anderson is known for, I mean, There Will Be Blood. I mean, he's visually. I love the way that he marries and that also opposes. The character elements with artistry, humanity with artistry. It's a wonderful. I mean, in terms of filmmaking,
it's as good as it gets.
Whether you enjoy it story-wise or entertainment-wise, it's some pretty heavy stuff.
We don't have the time to discuss some of the techniques he employs, but it's really good stuff.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the cinematography, the score.
The score is wonderful.
Incredible. Yeah.
The music is kind of offbeat. I would think it would be fair to say, but it's exactly right. I mean, it's exactly right.
Yeah, the angles and the score again really sort of bring out the psychological complexity. The inner world of the characters is displayed in other ways, such as we've mentioned, which is very interesting. It's a long
2 hours 20
slog.
minutes. Maybe a little bit too long. It's a complaint I often make about films. Maybe a bit too long.
Quite drawn out. And again, I'm repeating myself.
To some extent, it needs that. It needs the pace is necessarily a rather slow pace.
It does serve, again, the complexities and the ambiguity, but again, I'll reiterate that a bit for those of you seeking more of a neat, linear storytelling. It's not going to deliver. It doesn't give you the beats that you expect, the act resolutions that you expect, which again, plus minus.
I would
plus.
say...
Obviously it was a plus for you.
Yes, I would say this film is as good a film as I've seen in a long time.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, that's the general consensus, and there's awards talk and whatever. It was at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, a couple weeks ago, and it's definitely a highbrow and a buzzworthy film, and I think it's worth seeing, definitely if you're a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and just a film cineast at all, you need to see this film.
Well, and if you want to see some really fine acting.
Well, yeah, I mean, both of them, the leads are just...
But Philip Seymour Hoffman's fairly familiar to everybody because he's in a lot of films. Joaquin Phoenix, not so much.
Well,
but I was really surprised by how absolutely good he was.
He lost himself in the role. Philip Seymour Hoffman's role is a bit more pat, a bit more typical compared to Joaquin Phoenix, and so you got to give him. And he has a bit of a history, the actor.
I know that.
Right,
so how many gaps?
Well, I've mentioned the struggle I have with the positive versus negative aspect of the non-traditional storyline, and that's making it a bit short for me because I wasn't quite as attached.
Okay,
although upon reflection, I might change my mind, but at this point, I'm going to give it 3 3/4 Gabs.
Really, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I am going to give it 4.5 dabs.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, and again, maybe we'll do it like To the Wonder. After we thought about To the Wonder a few days after we reviewed it, we both sort of switched our attitudes.
I don't think I'm switching.
Maybe we'll do a part 2. I don't know. I need to think about it a lot more. This film definitely is worth seeing and reflection. But for now, The Master, those are our thoughts. You're my master, Dad. The session is out.
The Master is masterful. Go and see it.
Or not, but yeah, no, do see it. Really interesting
goodbye,
film. I still want to have more to think and talk about it.
We've run over time.
But it's a positive. Lots to say. Go see The Master. Thanks for watching.